one of your clients, you liked her picture, and then your wife sees it, and you're like, why did you like her picture?
Yeah, exactly. As I was saying,
Yeah.
you would be a victim of your own reputation. No, but it depends. It always depends on is there anything there? And usually women would know. Usually women would have a hunch if there was something going on. And usually they would be right. You know. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it at that.
You're like walking on eggshells on that one.
One place where people get caught is through that.
Nowadays,
that and
yeah,
SMS.
nowadays.
I mean, SMS or Vibers or whatever. Messaging platforms and social media for sure. So what was the question? Liking? Is that
another form of cheating? Something as little as
or even exchanges on social media, right? Like
no, okay. Let's keep it as simple as possible.
Going
Like
back
you
to
like the picture. You like the
going
picture
back
of
to what
this girl.
Chappie said. It's you're a victim of your own reputation because if or more so what he said about the bank account. It's not necessarily whether you have separate bank accounts or not. It's how transparent were you about setting up that bank account. If you are, liking your habitual liker and you see a trend and it's all girl pictures in bikinis, then you may have reason to worry. You may have that reason. And is he saying anything? I mean, there's like really a classic video on YouTube of that guy that goes to the bathroom and forgets to disconnect the Apple TV, and he was mirroring his phone. And
I remember
he was
that.
You saw that, and he was going through the Instagram, and she was like, "Oh no, you're not. Oh you better not like that." Oh, and then bam, he likes it.
Hilarious.
And she burst into the toilet, and he was sitting there, and his face is like,
It's funny when he was denying it,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden he saw the TV and he's like, "Oh crap."
Yeah, because it's like it comes down to how you are. I think the reputation, being a victim of your own reputation, is
I think it's really that. If you have, you're right. If you're a habitual liker, then there must be something there. I would say. And
Okay.
You give your wife an opportunity to doubt you.
Okay, let's reverse the roles naman. What if, because I've seen this happen before. Whenever guys, they catch their girls, they're the women in their lives, their significant other, liking another guy's picture, and this guy happens to be super hot, and you would get angry. Bakit mo nilike yung picture ni James?
Talk about this often.
well, thank you.
Bakit mo nilike yung picture ni James? Wala, kasi okay naman siya. He's smart. He's he talks well.
Matipano.
And he looks like just Tony. And, I mean, little things like that. And then all of a sudden, sometimes they wouldn't say, well, he's just a friend. And then all of a sudden you just say, okay, that's my cue to shut up. Parang ganun.
It's so.
I don't know. Could you?
I don't think it's case to case. Everything's really case to case here because it really does. See, like somebody like Doug, right? I mean, he's just such a stand-up guy that I don't think he could convince his wife that anything was going on. It should be. He could probably tell her straight, "I'm really doing that." You wouldn't. Because his reputation is so, and that's a compliment if you're listening, Doug. It's just he's got that demeanor about him. He's got that whole. So I think if you give them reason enough, then they will go fishing, and then these will become issues later on. But usually my wife gets angry at me when I like my own picture. She said, "Stop doing that. It's really awful." No, I'm just kidding.
Why would you like your own?
I'm
That's
just
like giving
kidding.
yourself a high five.
I'm just kidding.
Good job, James.
But the people still do that. They
Like in their own photos?
like their
Yeah,
own-
I see that too. I
They still,
see
they
that.
still
Yeah.
do that. I thought it was heavily publicized. You shouldn't do that.
Goodness.
Anyway.
Now,
Not getting
the reason
anywhere
why
with this
I.
liking thing, are we?
Oh, what?
We're not getting anywhere with this particular time. It's either we're too scared to talk, or
I know, right? Because this, if you talk about social media, it did and it does ruin relationships, and it's something as small as liking a picture. For me, it's not a big deal unless you act on it. That's
You
actually
don't think? Okay, but don't you think it starts there? Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
opening a door.
Wait, Maldita Me says, talking about relationships, in my opinion, men and women cause to suspect their partners if he or she doesn't show interest anymore. He or she is super busy to the point that he or she forgets your plans. Many excuses, don't like talking to you anymore, not happy with you anymore. I think this is pretty, that's very broad already. I think that's a doomed relationship, the way I see it. If we're talking about how you lose your trust towards people, Maldita. So what would make you distrust your significant other? I don't know. Micro cheating, if you would call it. What else do you guys think na would cause for for other people to have distrust towards you? I'm getting this wrong today.
Well, I think about like what Chap said earlier about omission. That can also work for, like, example, you bump into your ex, let's say, right? And you just fail to mention it to your wife because nothing happened. You didn't, nothing. I mean, you literally just bumped into each other in a coffee shop or something, and you were both in line, like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in like 10 years or whatever. Oh, all right. And you chit chat, you have a laugh, and then that's it. You move on. And you don't mention it to your wife only because you think, well, nothing happened anyway. And if I mention it, we might get into a fight over nothing. So I'll just leave it. And then that can later, now that could be perfectly harmless and you'll never hear from it again. But God help you if that comes up later on, like you happen to bump into each other again in the mall, and your wife says, she's going, yeah, I remember the last time. Boom! That's it.
Last time?
Yes, and
the
then
last time.
And that's going to be huge later on, because then everything will be put into question. Why didn't you mention it? Because nothing happened, and I just figured you'd be upset if I mentioned it. Well, yes, I'm upset now because you didn't, and now I'm wondering why you didn't mention it. Had you mentioned it, it's a very tricky situation, because I can see also where the guy is coming from. It's like, why would I unnecessarily rattle your cage when nothing happened? I didn't plan to see her. Nothing happened. We didn't exchange numbers. We never said we're going to text each other. And we're just mentioning it might have just ruined your night. Versus now, and then you weigh out that risk. I think that's small, but you know what? If you get caught, then it's going to be a big thing.
So you would think now, would it be better if you just said it?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm putting the question out there.
Hindsight's always 2020. So
okay, now you guys got me curious. Let's talk in general here. What would make you distrust a person, male or female?
Lying, of course.
Lying would be number one.
Lying, yeah.
What about you, Coach?
I would say the same, and habitual lying. If it happens again and again, because I'm a forgiving guy. So if it happens one time and then I don't do it again, and then you do it again, then you start to lose trust talaga.
And you also have to look at the reason for lying. Sometimes there is, we all make mistakes, and we all sometimes, but if you look at the reason for lying. If it was a little white lie here just to not, rock the boat, then you let it slide. But if you see a pattern developing, and then you couple it with what the caller or the texter said, where you're feeling distance already. Remember, these compound the insecurities, and later on these little triggers become a big thing, because it's just triggering on a much bigger emotion, which is the feeling of neglect, or the feeling that you're not anymore as important. So what is, and then all you need is just a final connector to make it all sort of the penny drop, as they say.
I think it's also
Malalim.
James is back. I think
You're on a roll today, sir.